Hello, welcome to English Lessons Online. In today's lesson, we shall be discussing primary auxiliary verbs. We shall begin by looking at what auxiliary verbs are. Auxiliary verbs are verbs that help the main verb in a sentence. They are often called helping verbs. Primary auxiliary verbs are the main auxiliary verbs in English. There are three primary auxiliary verbs in English. They are be, have, and do. Let's discuss each of these auxiliary verbs in detail. Now let's look at the verb be. The verb be is irregular in form. It is used in continuous or progressive sentences. The be verb is also used in the passive voice. It has the following forms: am, is, are, was, were. In the present simple, we have am, is, are. We have am and is being in the singular form and are in the plural form. Then in the past simple, we have was and were. We have was being singular and were plural. Let's look at the specific uses of the verb be. A. The verb be helps us to form the present continuous. The form of the present continuous is the present form of the verb be, that is, am, is, or are, plus the ing form of the main verb. I take that again. The form of the present continuous is the present form of the verb be, that is, am, is, or are, with the ing form of the main verb. Let's take some examples. I am writing a book. The present form of the verb be, which is am, is used together with the ing form of the main verb, which is writing. Please note that the subject of the sentence must agree with the auxiliary verb. So in this example, we have the subject I, which goes with the auxiliary verb am. Example 2. It is raining at the moment. Example 3. They are walking to school. In both example 2 and 3, we can see that the subjects are in agreement with the auxiliary verbs. In example 2, the subject it agrees with the auxiliary verb is, and in example 3 likewise, the subject they agrees with the auxiliary verb are. The auxiliary verb be also helps us to form the past continuous. The form of the past continuous is the past form of the verb be, that is, was or were, plus the ing form of the main verb. Here are some examples. Example 1. I was writing a book. The past form of the verb be, which is was, is used together with the ing form of the main verb, which is writing. Example 2. We were watching a movie. We also form the passive voice with the auxiliary verb be. Let's take a look at the passive voice in the present tense. The form of the passive voice in the present tense is the present form of the verb be plus the past participle form of the main verb. For example, 1. I am loved by God. We have am, which is the present form of the verb be, plus the past participle form of the main verb, which is loved. Example 2. Books are sold at the airport every day. So we have the present form of the verb be are, which is in plural form, going with the past participle form of the main verb sold. Passive voice, past tense. The form of the passive voice in the past tense is the past form of the be verb plus the past participle form of the main verb. Here are some examples. Example 1. I was given an award. We have the past form of the be verb, which is was, with the past participle form of the main verb given. Example 2. The books were stolen. Have. Have is used in perfect tenses. It has the forms have, has, and had. In the present simple, it has the forms have and has. Have goes with the plural subject and also with the pronoun I, while has goes with a singular subject. Then we have the past simple, which is had. Let's look at the specific uses of the have verb. A. It helps us to form the present perfect. The form of the present perfect is the present form of the verb have plus the past participle form of the main verb. The present form of the verb have, which is have or has, plus the past participle form of the main verb. Let's take a look at some examples. 1. Mary has written a book. Has is the present form of the auxiliary verb have in the singular form, and it's used together with the past participle form of the main verb, which is written. Example 2. They have lost their keys. B. The auxiliary verb have helps us to form the past perfect. The form of the past perfect is the past form of the auxiliary verb have, which is had, plus the past participle form of the main verb. Let's take a look at these examples. 1. John had cleaned his room. Had is the past tense of the auxiliary verb have and is therefore used together with the past participle form of the main verb, which is cleaned. Example 2. My sisters had already seen the film. Had is used together with the past participle form of the main verb see, which is seen. The verb do. Do is used in simple tenses in English. It has the forms do, does, and did. In the present simple, we have do and does. Then the past simple, we have did. Uses of do. A. To give emphasis to the main verb. Emphasis simply means to express a strong feeling or strong opinion. To express a strong feeling or a strong opinion. Then B. To form negative sentences. We simply form negative sentences by adding not to the auxiliary verb. Then C. To ask questions. Let's look at the first one, which is giving emphasis. And we are going to look at how we can use the do verb to give emphasis in the present simple. The form is the present form of the verb do, which is do or does, plus the base form of the main verb. So when we say base form, is the bare form of the verb without adding anything to it. For example, go, come, look. Let's take the examples. 1. I do work hard. Do here simply gives emphasis to the main verb work, which is in its base form. Nothing has been added to it. We can also simply leave the sentence as I work hard. Here we are simply using the verb do to add more emphasis to the main verb work. Example 2. John does love Mary. John is a singular subject and so it goes with the auxiliary verb does. Does here is simply emphasizing on the main verb love. And take note, both of them are in their base form. We cannot say John does loves Mary. So if we decide not to add the emphasis, we can leave it as John loves Mary. Giving emphasis, past simple. The form is past form of the auxiliary verb do plus the base form of the main verb. Here are some examples. I did go to school yesterday. We have the past form of the auxiliary verb do, which is did, with the base form of the main verb, which is go. Example 2. The couple did argue. we have the past form of the verb did, which goes with the main verb argue. It would be wrong to say the couple did argued. Argued should not be in the past tense, it should be in the base form. We also use the auxiliary verb do to form negative sentences. Bi, forming negative sentences, present simple. The form is the present form of the auxiliary verb do plus not plus the base form of the main verb. For example, example 1, he does not eat meat. Here, the present form of the auxiliary verb do, which is does, is used together with the word not plus the base form of the main verb, which is eat. He does not eat meat. The auxiliary verb does is used because the subject he is singular. Example 2, my parents do not work in London. Please note that when forming negative sentences with auxiliary verbs, those words can be contracted. For example, the contracted form of does not is doesn't. So in example 1, we can say he doesn't eat meat. Example 2, the contracted form of do not is don't. So we can say my parents don't work in London. Bii, forming negative sentences, past simple. The form is the past form of the auxiliary verb do plus the word not plus the base form of the main verb. Here are some examples. 1. She did not use the phone. Here, did is the past form of the auxiliary verb do, followed by the word not, then the base form of the main verb, which is use. Example 2. We did not go to the party. Please take note, this can also be contracted to be example 1. She didn't use the phone. Example 2. We didn't go to the party. The verb do can also be used to ask questions either in the present simple or in the past simple. Ci, asking questions, present simple. The form is the present form of the auxiliary verb do, which is do or does, plus the subject, plus the base form of the main verb. Let's take a look at the following examples. Example 1. Do you like beer? The present form of the verb do, which is do, is used with the subject you, followed by the base form of the main verb, which is like. Example 2. Does John exercise regularly? These sentences must end with the question mark. Cii, asking questions, past simple. The form for asking questions in the past simple is the past form of the auxiliary verb do plus the subject plus the base form of the main verb. Let's take a look at the examples below. Example 1. Did they like it? Did is the past tense of the auxiliary verb do, followed by the subject, which is they, then the base form of the auxiliary verb, which is like. Example 2. Did he come? We've come to the end of today's lesson. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell to get notified whenever we upload a new video. And if you have any question, kindly ask in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. See you in our next lesson. Bye.